Hello everybody and welcome back to Across the Pond.
Hello!
This is the final... That was QJ. I'm Dan.
I'm
That's
still
QJ.
here!
This is the final thing we're going to do with 2016. This is just going to be a quick, hopefully quick, might drag on a bit, who knows. This is just going to be my quick wrap up of the 10 best films that came out in 2016 and the 5 worst films that came out in 2016.
Bonus
I'm gonna do this
video.
every year. I'm gonna make it a traditional bonus video that we're gonna do. Just because I don't know, I like ranking things.
13th month
it's
of
a
the
fun
year,
thing.
because it's a leap year. That's how that
what?
works.
That's not how that works. You know, I like ranking things, and rest in peace, 8-Brit. So yeah, I think we should just get straight into it, don't you?
I do.
I think I'm gonna start with the top 5 worst films that came out in 2016. I'm gonna start with number 5. Monster Trucks, which,
okay.
well, what? This is the 5th, so number 1 is the worst film, number 5 is...
Okay.
The Monster Trucks is the least bad of the bad, in my opinion.
Because it was so underwhelming.
Yeah, I ran it, if you've listened to the December episode, we've literally just recorded that, so we're fresh off of my why is Monster Trucks so underwhelmingly just nothing rant. It just doesn't... It does nothing good, but it also does nothing bad, so it's like, it's not a good film, but it's like... there's nothing I passionately hate about it. It's just kind of adequate. But it's not good, so that's my number 5 worst film of the year.
Number 4.
My number 4 is a film that most people are probably going to disagree with being on this list. Star Wars story, Rogue One, a Star Wars story by Disney. Man, it's just boring. It's a boring characters.
I didn't see it.
Following a story that I don't care about because I know how it's going to end. I just don't care. Rogue One, I didn't enjoy it at all. If you did enjoy it, fine. I guess opinions are different. You know, you can have yours. You can have yours and you can enjoy it. But I don't think Rogue One is a good film. So there we have it. I've already recently talked about those, so I feel like I don't need to linger on either of those two. Number 3, now we're in entirely superhero movies.
Here we go.
The top 3 worst films of this year. Number 3 is a film that I bored you to death with earlier in the year. In fact, all 3 of these are. But this one I think you were least interested in hearing me rant about. The number 3 worst film this year is X-Men Apocalypse. The dire, terrible... it's so bad. X-Men Apocalypse is like exactly what the follow-up to Days of Future Past shouldn't have been. It was...
Didn't you lie about that film? And then you watched it, and both times it was bad. Yeah. And both times I was like, ugh.
I think maybe. Maybe? I don't remember, like... You think I remember our content. But yeah, X-Men Apocalypse... The thing is, it's annoying because it does have some redeeming features, but it just doesn't know what it wants to be. It spends half the time being like this dark, edgy X-Men film, but it also wants to be like wacky and goofy and do silly jokes, and I'm just sitting there like, can you not, please? And it's really just dull and does nothing special, and just it's trying too hard to be some sort of like big epic film that it just isn't. Now, the top 2 worst films of 2016, both of them, interestingly, were made by the same company. They were both Warner Brothers and DC's terrible attempts at making superhero films this year. Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad. I can't even say it. Suicide Squad. Which one do you think I hate the most, QJ? Just a fun little guessing game for you.
I want to say Batman vs Superman, but that sounds too easy.
It sounds easy, because it is. So, the number 2 worst film of 2016 is Suicide Squad. The number 1 is Batman vs Superman. Man,
they were pretty awful.
Anyone who's making... If anyone has a top 5 worst films of 2016 list, and those 2 aren't the top 2, I honestly want to know what you think is worse than those 2 films.
Yeah, what did you watch?
Both terrible. Because, like,
I mean, I really can't say anything about Batman vs Superman because, to be fair, I didn't watch it, so...
It's
I
terrible.
can't say anything about it.
It's terrible.
But Suicide Squad
it's garbage.
Was atrociously bad. Like, it was
it's
a mess.
Hot mess.
It was a mess.
Like, Suicide Squad is just such a ridiculous mess of a film that just...
Well, it's the kind of film that I feel like they're like, people love this because the characters are there and they have names. And so we don't need to try.
Yeah, like... People will go and see this because it has the Joker, and we will make money. And tragically enough, we did go and see it because it had the Joker. You know, we went to see it because it had. I mean,
Well, I saw
didn't.
it because
went
the
to see it
comic
'cause it
book
had Captain
series is
Boomerang.
excellent, and I was hoping it would be like that, but it wasn't.
My entire motivation for seeing that film in the end, because I knew it was going to be bad, but my entire motivation for why I actually showed up was at least Captain Boomerang might be fun. And to be fair, he was kind of fun, so that was a good thing about that film. But yeah, Suicide Squad's a hot mess. It's poorly written. The direction is incredibly boring. The soundtrack's bad. The only good thing about that film is the acting, but you get good actors on a bad script, and like it's still a bad script.
Yeah.
Like the editing's poor because they did multiple cuts of it. It's a mess. That's the best way of describing it. And then Batman vs Superman, I hate more than Suicide Squad because Batman vs Superman takes itself far more seriously. Batman vs Superman acts like it has this huge gravitas, like it's this big epic film, everything in the film matters, but it doesn't because the characters don't exist. They're like Superman in that film isn't a character. He's just a blank piece of paper that exists to punch and be punched.
Yeah.
And then Batman just that. To be fair, Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman is good. But again, you get a good actor on a bad script, you've still got a bad script. Like, it's a terrible film. It's boring, it's dull, like, nothing interesting happens. Like, even the action is just so, like, underwhelming. Like if I could go back, Rogue One, X-Men Apocalypse, and Monster Trucks, at least they had fun, enjoyable action scenes. Not so, I was going to say to an extent Suicide Squad, but no, not Suicide Squad. The action scenes in that were also terrible. But, like, Monster Trucks has a really cool scene near the end where they're, like, flipping off of cliffs and stuff, and they're, like, trucks with monsters in them that have tentacles, and it's fun. Like, I enjoyed that action. But Batman punching Suicide Squad? I'm getting confused. They're both so bad. Batman punching Superman in that film was boring, and it shouldn't be. Batman punching Superman should be cool.
You shouldn't
There
be
was that
punching him
one
in the
scene where
first
Batman
place. They're
punched a bunch
both
of
good
dudes, and it
guys.
was fun.
Why are they even fighting?
I like that the Lego Batman movie trailer, like,
I was just gonna
makes
say
fun of
that. He's like, my worst enemy is Superman.
Superman is my worst
not
enemy.
a bad guy. Oh,
Well, I am
seriously,
fighting multiple people.
they just made a movie about like the argument
so
that
dumb.
fans have been dishing out for decades, and there
Yeah.
was no sense in it.
And it's not even like it was based on a comic book in which, I mean, okay, they do fight a lot in the comics, and they did fight that one time in The Dark Knight Returns, but it's not like it was based on an actual comic book
Everyone
in which
fights like when they meet,
in
though.
which two characters fight, and yeah, that's true, everyone in a comic. But anyway, I'm trying to do a lead into the 10 best films of the year by
I'm
saying,
sorry.
you know, it's not like another comic book that I'm going to talk about in a bit where there was a good reason for them to fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, Batman vs Superman is terrible, so is Suicide Squad. X-Men Apocalypse, Rogue One, and Monster Trucks are just kind of like, they're just like bad. I didn't enjoy them. They're not like abominations against nature like BVS and Suicide Squad were. They're just kind of like not very good. So I feel like that there's a huge jump in quality between 2 and 3 in this list, but it's fine because, you know, they're still not good. So off of that negativity, sorry to any DC fans. I
Not
don't know
sorry.
why you are fans of DC's films. They make good comics, I guess, but like films,
do?
no, shut up. But yeah, top 10 best films that came out in 2016. I'm gonna go number 10, The Edge of 17. It's a
Nice.
coming of age story about a grumpy girl who's just funny. Oh, it's so funny. It's a good film.
You
It
didn't
has a
talk
lot
that
of
much
heart.
about that
It's-
film, but like
I didn't, but
it seems yeah,
I
it
don't
seems
need
nice.
to. It's a really enjoyable film. It's just like there's not a huge amount I can say about it. It's just very good. Like there's no specific points I can make. It just it knows what it's doing, and it's very capable, and it's very enjoyable, and it's well made. It's a great film. Number 9 is I, Daniel Blake, an emotionally powerful movie about genuine issues that happen in the UK. I'd recommend watching I, Daniel Blake. If you haven't, it's really good. It's genuinely just so good. One of the best films of the year. The 9th best film of the year, in fact. Number 8, The Swiss Army Man. An absolutely hilariously like original, outlandish, ridiculous film about a man who finds a magical corpse, and
I talked to a couple other people who saw that. They also recommended it.
it's so good.
Espeon's
It's so like
leaning on the microphone.
cat problems. Yeah, it's so surrealist, and it's one of those films you have to see it to really understand why it's just excellent. You know, I cannot describe or put into words why this film's good, but I would recommend everyone see it. Like, I mean, all of these 10 films I'd recommend you see just because they're so good.
Cool.
Number 7 is A Street Cat Named Bob, a film about a recovering drug addict who finds a cat and then just finds meaning in his life. That has a really nice message. Like, the message behind it is like, everyone gets a second chance, but not everyone is lucky enough to take it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's about just how he did take it, and he ran with this chance, and he saved his own life through perseverance and by having a cat, which is, you always want a cat, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're great.
I have two.
They're the best. So then, those are like, just, those 4 movies are really good. But now we're into the excellent zone. Number 6, Captain America Civil War. How could it not be one of the best films of the year?
That was
it was
really
amazing.
good film.
Gonna be honest with you, even if it hadn't been a whole film, it had just been that one airport fight scene, I would still put that on. Like, if it was just that scene, I would put it on, like, oh my god, that scene was so good.
That was one of the least boring fight scenes I've ever seen in a superhero film. I
know, right? Yeah. How can you make a fight scene in a superhero film boring? DC, how do you do it? Yeah, Civil War just is so good. Like, Ant-Man's great in it, Spider-Man's great in it, just everyone's great in it. Hawkeye's great in it. There are some genuinely heartfelt lines of dialogue from Hawkeye, the guy that everyone hates for some reason, even though he's great. And I love Hawkeye.
I like Hawkeye.
I think Hawkeye's excellent. Anyway, so yeah, Captain America Civil War is a great film. It's one of the best of the year. Just, I love it. But I feel like I don't need to talk that much about it because everyone loves it. Because if you don't, you're wrong. Number 5 is a film. Number 5 is a film that early on in the year I said, if any films this year are better than this, I'll be surprised. I was like, if this isn't my number 1 by the end of the year, I will actually be surprised. But unsurprisingly, Deadpool got knocked down to number 5. I'm amazed that it happened, but I'm glad it happened.
Wow.
Because Deadpool's like custom made for me. Like, it's exactly what I wanted. Like, it's a juvenile film that takes the idiotic juvenile style of comedy, but doesn't use it overbearingly. You know, I was worried because I like
really well made. One of the best superhero style / genre movies I've seen. Yeah, people keep saying it wasn't a superhero movie, and I get that, but it was still in that category.
Oh, it is.
And
whatever.
I think, it was one of the best ones I've seen. I love it.
It's excellent. I love, just because I was worried, because I like the juvenile style of comedy that Deadpool has, but I like it when it's balanced out and it's kind of watered down. I don't like it when it's just always on. And I feel like the comics never have it always on, but I was worried the film was going to be kind of like full-fledged, always ridiculous lol, ha ha ha.
Well, the film did a good job of making Deadpool a person. Like, his comedy was there, but there were also points when he was even like, ha ha, I'm laughing to hide the pain.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say. Like, I was going into, like, the way that the film balanced it. You know, there was a balance of juvenile comedy, but also this genuine human emotion element that is in the comics quite a lot. Like, in the comics throughout, there's always this kind of edge of like, Deadpool's a broken human being. And I was worried the film was like going to ignore that, but it didn't. It took it completely and ran with it, and I love it for that. Like, I absolutely love that they did that, and I'm hoping the sequel does the same. I'm a little bit worried because Tim Miller left over creative differences, and like there's this whole thing about like there's issues with the sequel, and I'm worried that that's because Tim Miller wanted to keep the heart and the emotion of the story, and everyone else just wanted to do lol random jokes. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully the sequel does maintain the spirit and keep it going in that way. But
I could say I'm a bit
skeptical. I'm worried.
It's one of my favorite rom-coms. And you wouldn't
yep, true.
You wouldn't normally think of it as that, but it is. It qualifies as one.
Yeah. Literally it is. Deadpool and Shaun of the Dead are probably my 2 favorite rom-coms.
Shaun of the Dead's so good. Yep.
Although Shaun of the Dead technically is a rom-zom-com. It says it on the DVD box.
Whatever.
Okay, so number 4, my 4th favorite film of 2016. Technically, it doesn't come out in the UK until January 1st, but I don't care. I saw it early, so it counts. It's A Monster Calls. It's heartfelt. It's beautiful. It portrays like these really genuine emotions in a really good way, and it uses abstract concepts to do so. It has great performances from a child actor, which is just so good. A Monster Calls is like, if I could recommend any film on this list, I think this is probably the number 1. I love it. Like, it's amazing. It's genuinely
awesome.
Just the
Keep
best.
That in mind.
Like, I love it. I think it's great. The number 3. Okay, so where A Monster Calls doesn't come out here until the January 1st, technically number 3 came out originally like in 2015, but it didn't come out here in the UK until January 1st, 2016. So I'm kind of counting it.
So you've got a couple that are on either edge of the year.
Yeah, I'm allowing it, you know. It didn't come out in the UK until January 1st, so it's fine. But the number 3 is The Danish Girl, another film that's just absolutely beautiful. Like, in the same way that A Monster Calls kind of is close to my heart because it's feelings I've had.
Talk about a
The
film
Danish Girl is exactly the same.
You said like Deadpool was made for you, and I was like, I can think of another film that's made for you.
Yeah, like both The Monster Calls and The Danish Girl just hit me like really hard in the feels because it's things that I've experienced and that I know really well. And man, The Danish Girl is just so good. It's really well made. Like, it has its issues. It's not a perfect film, but I absolutely love it. It was lovely. And I just it made me cry. It made me cry really hard. Yep. And I'm glad I didn't see it in the cinema because I spent about 20 minutes crying after that film ended. Like, a black screen, like the file was done. It was just like over and I was just sitting on my PC crying. Anyway, more positive note. So, you know how the top 2 worst films of the year were both made by the same company, Warner Brothers and DC? The top 2 best films of the year were made by the same company, Walt Disney Animation Studios. Because, man, Zootopia and Moana were both nearly perfect films. Zootopia's number 2. I love Zootopia. Like, Zootopia was such a perfect, like, it was a great story, it had great character, it had so much heart, and it made me laugh throughout. I was smiling the whole time.
Well-told story.
I loved Zootopia.
It was one of those stories that needed to be told because it's about real life issues. Even if not everybody gets it, like, I'm glad that it's out there.
It's a perfect allegory. It's so good. It's teaching children not to discriminate, and it's like doing it in such a perfect way. And I love when children's animation can take an abstract and kind of adult concept and put it into a way that children can experience. Like, Zootopia does it with an animal city where people are racist against predators, but it's, you know, it's kind of the same. Like, it's a metaphor for real race relations, and it's the same thing like Up does with kind of letting go and grieving. And I think that's beautiful too. Like, I love it when an animated film can do that. Like how you know, the Bee Movie is about how interracial relationships should blossom and bloom in the way that Barry and Vanessa's relationship grows throughout the story.
Accepting bestiality, and I don't think that's something that should be put out there.
More like bestiality.
Oh, God. Is this video over yet?
Anyway, so Zootopia is great. Zootopia is my number 2 film of this year. I'm not sure if I have a bias for animation, but like,
I think you do.
Or if these two are just genuinely excellent films. I honestly can't tell. Like, I don't know if it's my bias for animation or if it is just because Zootopia is amazing. It's almost perfectly made. Everything in it is constructed perfectly.
Animation does have a certain advantage over live action where they can do things that live action just can't.
Yeah.
And
you can just construct this perfect reality.
And
so good.
You can take an abstract idea and be like prejudice or, you know, like a certain coming of age story and adding an adventure to it across the ocean and do it a lot easier with animation. And there's a lot of different abstract ideas that help like teach kids and adults about things that animation really lends itself to, because like you've said before, there's no limit except your imagination. Yeah.
As Jerry Seinfeld says in the Art of the Bee Movie book.
I can't believe I just did that, but
you led into that. Like, that's genuinely, like, there's a quote at the start, like the foreword of the B-Movie art book. Anyway, so the number 1 best film this year, I already basically said it, is Moana. Moana I think is perfect. I cannot see any flaws with it. I fell in love with it the first time.
It was wonderful.
I love that film. It made me happy. Like, I think if I had my critic head on, I probably wouldn't have Moana as number 1, but because this is like my personal kind of subjective top 10, Moana I loved it. Like, I was just
surprised at how much I liked it. Like, I kept watching it, trying to find flaws, trying to nitpick at stuff, but I just kept smiling and laughing, and I was like, this is so wonderful. Like, a little happy adventure. I just get to sit here and watch it, and takes me through all these joyous moments and sad moments, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, I just enjoyed every single minute of it. Like, it's honestly, I would argue, perfect. Like, I loved it. It was amazing. See, that's my top 5 worst, top 10 best movies of 2016. if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. I love a good argument. I love people debating against what I said. Do tell me if you think Batman vs Superman isn't the worst film of 2016. I genuinely, right? If someone can tell me a worse film than Batman vs Superman, and none of this like Sharknado 8, the sharkening, like that doesn't count, all right? I don't care if that came out, like none of that. But if you can give me a worse film than Batman vs Superman, I actually would applaud you, legitimately. And also, because I watched 65 films in total this year. I've talked about every single one of them throughout this Across the Pond, the podcast we've done throughout the year. In the description, I will have a link to the full ranking list where you can look at, where other films that didn't come out in 2016 fall in this list, where everything comes in. And yeah, that will be it for us in 2016.
Sounds great.
And 2017.
This was the 13th month of the year. And it's over. The
special 13th month. No, I can't think of a name for it. Sorry. I was going to try and...
Bernie.
Mayo Bernie. Is that what you just said to me? Did you just say Mayo Bernie to me?
No. I said Mayo Bernie. Forgot the L.
As a name for a month. Alright, happy Mayo Bernie, everyone. I hope you all had a good year. I hope 2017 is good for everyone. I did have
a wonderful year. It was a wonderful year of movies and books and games and friendship.
Yeah.
And now that it's over,
our
friendship is over. So
cool.
We'll never see you again.
I'm gonna replace you with Chris for Across the Pond 2017.
No, well, I'm gonna replace you with someone way better and cuter. So you get to meet that person in January, everybody.
No. Well, all right. I guess bye forever then.
Bye. Bye, Dan. I don't like you.
Okay, that's
today.
Quite upsetting. All right, bye everyone.
Goodbye.
Have a good day. Goodbye.
Happy New Year.
Also, if you want to hear us talk about the B movie for 20 minutes, ask about it in the comments. Like, we'll genuinely do it. I'm not even joking.